The Tonight Show studio was buzzing with excitement when Ed Sheeran walked out as the evening's guest. The audience cheered wildly, expecting him to talk about his new album, his upcoming tour, and maybe even play one of his iconic hits, Jimmy. Fallon welcomed him with his trademark enthusiasm, cracking jokes to loosen the atmosphere. At first, it was the usual light-hearted fun. Ed smiled politely, laughed when appropriate, and strummed a few playful chords on the guitar he'd brought with him. But beneath the surface, something was brewing. Fallon, known for poking fun, turned his attention to Ed's songwriting. "You ever gonna write something that doesn't sound like you're crying in your bedroom?" he joked, mocking Ed's tendency toward emotional ballads. The audience laughed, but Ed's smile faltered. "That's kind of what I do," he replied softly, his voice calm but carrying an edge that suggested he didn't find it funny. Fallon pushed further, riffing on the idea by pretending to play. The same three chords that, in his words, made up all of Ed's songs. The crowd laughed louder, but Ed didn't. He placed his guitar on the table, his jaw tightening. "Jimmy," he said evenly, "it's not really funny when you dismiss years of my work like it's a cliché." The studio went quiet. Fallon tried to backtrack, smiling nervously. "Oh, come on, Ed. I'm just joking. You know I love your stuff." But Ed leaned forward, his tone sharp. "You don't joke like that with other artists when they're sitting right here. Why is it okay with me?" The audience shifted uneasily. Fallon, clearly rattled, attempted to move the conversation on, asking whether Ed's collaborations with rappers and pop stars were just a way to stay relevant. That was the breaking point. "You don't get to say that," Ed snapped. "I've worked hard for more than a decade, writing for myself and for others. Staying relevant isn't about chasing trends. It's about staying true to who you are. Maybe you wouldn't understand that since your job is just making fun of people for laughs." The studio fell silent. Fallon blinked, visibly stunned. Trying to smooth things over, he forced a laugh and reached for a transition. But Ed wasn't playing along. He pushed his chair back, picked up his guitar, and stood abruptly. "You know what? I don't need to sit here and be mocked for doing what I love," he said, his voice firm and final. Fallon reached out in a panic. "Wait, Ed, it's all in good fun." But Ed shook his head and walked toward the side of the stage. The audience gasped, torn between applause and stunned whispers as he disappeared behind the curtain. Fallon, left alone at his desk, forced an uneasy grin into the camera. "Well, I guess he's gone. Give it up for Ed Sheeran, everybody." The applause that followed was hesitant, confused. Fallon quickly cut to commercial, his usual confidence replaced by visible embarrassment. Backstage, Ed was reportedly furious, telling producers he felt set up and humiliated. Crew members tried to calm him, but he refused to return to the stage. Fallon paced nervously, already realizing the moment would become a massive headline. When the show returned, he tried to downplay it with a joke. Well, that escalated quickly. His shaky delivery betrayed his unease. Within minutes, social media exploded. Clips of the walk-off flooded Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. Fans argued fiercely about who was in the wrong. Some defended Fallon, saying Ed was being too sensitive. Others praised Ed for standing up for himself, accusing Fallon of crossing the line. Hashtags like Yash EDV's Fallon and Sheeran Walk Off trended worldwide. Industry insiders soon weighed in. Musicians rallied to Ed's side, calling out Fallon's habit of pushing jokes too far. Rival late-night hosts took shots as well. Stephen Colbert quipped, "At least when guests leave my show, it's because they have a plane to catch, not because I insulted their entire career." Neither Ed nor Fallon released an immediate statement, fueling speculation. Rumors swirled that Fallon had apologized privately, while others claimed Ed was considering avoiding late-night shows altogether. The incident was no longer just gossip. It had become a debate about comedy, respect, and the blurry line between banter and humiliation. The next morning, headlines screamed the story worldwide. Ed Sheeran walks out on Fallon Live. Every outlet seized on it. Photos of Ed storming off and Fallon's stunned expression went viral, dissected frame by frame. Morning shows replayed the clip as commentators debated whether Fallon had crossed a line or Ed had overreacted. Radio DJs fielded. Calls from listeners divided between praising Ed for standing his ground and insisting celebrities should have thicker skin. The debate snowballed into a larger conversation about the nature of late-night humor. Online, the firestorm intensified. Fans launched a respected campaign, posting his songs with captions like, "This is real artistry." Fallon supporters countered, with Farkas Team Jimmy, arguing that comedians should have the freedom to joke. Memes flooded timelines, some mocking Fallon as the host who couldn't keep his guests, others dramatizing Ed's exit with captions like "me leaving when someone insults." My playlist. By day 2, NBC was in crisis mode. Producers leaked that other celebrity agents were asking whether their clients would be safe from Fallon's jokes. Fallon, usually cheerful, was reportedly distraught. Sources said he called Ed multiple times with no response. His PR team drafted an apology, but Fallon hesitated, worried it would make him look weak. Ed stayed silent publicly, but confided to friends that Fallon's comments had cut deep. It wasn't banter, it was belittling, he reportedly said. His silence only fueled his fans' loyalty. Streams of his songs spiked, and Spotify playlists titled "Songs Fallon Couldn't Understand" went viral. Late-night rivals piled on. Colbert staged a sketch welcoming a cardboard cutout of Ed, promising, "Don't worry, I won't insult you." James Corden, a longtime friend of Ed's, defended him openly. "Ed's one of the kindest guys in the business. If he walked out, something must have really crossed the line." Fallon suddenly looked isolated, his reputation under siege. Finally, Fallon addressed the issue on air. Looking somber, he told viewers, "I made some jokes that didn't land. I crossed the line. Ed's a phenomenal artist and a friend, and I regret how it came across." The audience applauded, but reactions online were split. Some praised him for taking responsibility, while others dismissed it as PR spin. Not long after, Ed broke his silence with a black-and-white Instagram post. A photo of him in the studio, captioned, "Music has always been about honesty for me. When that honesty is mocked, it hurts. I hope for respect, not ridicule." The post went viral instantly, racking up millions of likes. Stars like Taylor Swift, Adele, and Shawn Mendes left supportive comments, while others criticized Fallon. NBC scrambled to broker peace with rumors of offering Ed an exclusive special to perform without Fallon present. Paparazzi later spotted Fallon at Heathrow Airport, sparking speculation he'd flown to London to apologize in person. The fallout reshaped both men's careers. Fallon's ratings dipped slightly, with viewers questioning his charm. Ed, ironically, soared, his songs climbing charts, his concerts selling out faster than ever. Fans at his shows chanted, "We love you, Ed," turning his tour into a protest against mockery in media. Though the frenzy eventually calmed, the walk-off became one of the most replayed talk show moments in years, a cultural flashpoint about comedy and respect. Whether Ed and Fallon ever truly reconciled remained uncertain, but one thing was clear. The world had witnessed an unfiltered, raw moment from a global superstar, and late night would never feel quite the same again.